everybody! Welcome to Transplanar. As you can tell, our webcams are a little messed up because we're still waiting on Devin. Devin is coming back from their summer camp extravaganza experience. So once they log on, everyone's going to be shuffled around and you're going to see me work my OBS magic in real time. But before we even get there, let's just go around the circle and introduce ourselves. I'll start. My name is Connie. I am the GM, your lovely GM, Dungeon Master, and Game Master. My pronouns are they, he, and she. I am the executive producer as well behind Transplanar RPG. I am interested in horror, screenwriting, improv, monstrosity, myth-making, snails, and stuffed animals. You can find me on Twitter at @byconniechong and on Twitch and Tumblr at @DandDaddyIssues. I'm just going to pass this along. Is Devin back? Devin, if you're just tuning in, we are doing our intros. Hi, Devin. Let us know once your video is up. Everybody, welcome Devin. Let's put some Manaya love in the chat for our Manaya, who's back. And as soon as your video is working, I'll shuffle our webcams back around. But let's keep the introduction train going. I'm going to pass it down to Erica.
Hello all, my name is Erica, she, her. You can catch me here on the Twitch. You might see my picture now going all over the place, but I'm an Erica New Girl at like every form of social media. I just added a YouTube channel where you can watch me getting scared from alien isolation, which I beat this week. I even had a dream about a xenomorph being in my house last night, so that's great. And with that, I'm gonna move on to Max.
Hello, I'm Max. I go by they, them pronouns. I play Dewey Court. I'm interested in things like cats. You can find me at Starchmonger on Instagram and Tumblr. Sometimes. Yeah. Pass it on to C.
Cool. Hey y'all, my name's C. I use any gender-neutral pronouns such as they, them. I am me. I lost my train of thought when introducing myself just now. Who am I? I don't know.
Who are you?
I don't know. I have no idea. I play Oka. I don't know. I play Oka. And I also made the official art that you can see on our little thing. I forget what it's called. But you can follow me on Tumblr at pi-sharp or on Twitter at pi-sharpart. And with that, Devin, are you ready to introduce yourself?
I am. Can y'all see and hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes.
You are coming in.
Yay! Awesome.
Yay!
Hi, my name is Devin Olson. I just got back from 4 weeks of camp. And so I literally just walked in the door. My door's still open. I use they, them pronouns. I am a translator / linguist / musician, and I have no internet presence. I play Manaya Waidua, 7.5 foot tall, half-orc fighter, you know her, you love her. Yeah. I'll pass it on to whoever's left.
I think that's everyone, right?
Woo!
Yeah, great. Woo! Cutting it close
That's
to the name
us.
game here. That's us. Thanks to everyone who's been gifting subs and subscribing at the very top of this episode. We really, really appreciate it. And before we hop into the rest of the announcements, though, Erica, is there something you would like to say?
Yes, before we hop into the rest of our announcements, we at Transplanar RPG want to take a moment to again say, fuck Wizards of the Coast. We talked a lot more in depth about this during episode 2, so you can go back and catch that if you want. So we're not going to say that much this time, but you can use the WOTC command in chat at any time to get a full statement of our stance on WTOC. Fuck the Wizards of the Coast.
Yes.
Which is a big middle finger.
Big middle finger, yeah. So if you're confused about what's going on, you can just Google it. A lot of shit's happening and we don't have the time or bandwidth to talk about it right now. But yeah, we want to make our stance clear. Fuck Wizards. So moving on. As a reminder, we play our main campaign every other Saturday, so episode 5, Sparkles, is going to come out Saturday, August 22nd at 3 p.m. Central on Twitch. Never fear, though, Lecture 2 of Professor Chong's Tabletop Workshop airs next Saturday, August 15th at 3 p.m. Central, where I will be discussing player agency in tabletop games. What does this mean? Why does it matter? How do you craft situations where this is highlighted? So yeah, let's move on. C, would you like to take the next bridge of our announcement?
Yes, I do. Before we begin, an acknowledgement of everyone who donated, subscribed, gift subs, and or gave bits last session and during the lectures of Professor Chong's our very own Erica New Girl, Yivniv GSC Now, Casseroni Live, Sheldon Genji, Alexis, Raitel, Bukara Abadio, and Fazman91. Thank you all so much for your overwhelming generosity and support. We love you. We see you all who have been donating and giving more than once. We appreciate you, everything that you give to us. Thank you. And speaking of donations, as you can see on our overlay, we are excited to announce perhaps the final form of our session-based donation goals. As we said in previous episodes, donations will not carry over, but we're retconning that and deciding that they will, because we have player agency. As Connie said, you, our generous audience, has collectively given $70 to Transplanar RPG between episodes 2 and 3, which is over halfway to our goal of $120. Once we hit that goal, which does not expire until it is reached, woohoo! A special player-related backstory B plot, say that 5 times fast, will become unlocked. Connie will roll a d4, and whoever's name comes up will have their B plot activated as soon as possible. Moreover, every $15 donated lights up a star on our overlay, which grants 1 point of collective inspiration to the party as well as to the DM. So, careful.
Thank you.
And that's all we have to say about our donation goals.
Yep, thank you so much for that recap, C. We really appreciate it. Speaking of recaps, Max.
Yes. So, as a reminder, if you want a written recap of every episode since we started, you can use !recap in the chat, or you can go to bit.ly/transrecap on your internet browser. But let me recap what happened last session. So, the crew set off on their 40-day journey across the Republic of Talmaad, hoping that Dr. Oluso would be at the end with answers for everyone. They encountered strange and sudden meteorological events, refugees fleeing from the capital of the Republic, reporting violent riots in the mines, and a corrupted couatl, which is usually a well-meaning flying serpent, but this time it was causing rampant destruction, but still remaining aware that it was hurting people. It asked Oka to kill it, and they obliged. We also had our first encounter with the Children of the Chrysalis sect through a preacher named Balraj Shah. In classic V fashion, she cons him into believing she's a prophet of the Chrysalis. So during this month-long journey, the crew also honed their skills so much that they leveled up. So let's go to each of the players to see what new skills they've got and how their characters spent the time that we didn't cover in the stream. I'm going to pass it to Erica first. What did V do?
V, Nakshurzo, she behaved herself quite most of the time for the 40-day adventure, so she learned to be more patient, and therefore she raised her charisma score by 2 whole points. V also watched Oka casting light, to add some light in the world, and so V kept practicing some magic and gained the ability to use light as a cantrip, as well as some other spells which may be revealed later.
Wonderful. Who's next?
Oka spent a lot of time gathering information from refugees, specifically seeking out paladins, clerics, and warlocks, and trying to gather as much information on the 8 as they possibly could, as well as honing their body by scouting ahead, climbing trees, and keeping their eyes open during watch, waiting for those new monsters to encroach upon their camp.
We'll find out how this translates mechanically, if it ever does come up. Manaya/Devin, would you like to let us know what Manaya did to level up?
Yeah, so Manaya's completely out of her element. She's never been this far inland, and she's never been in a place that wasn't right by the ocean and very humid. And so her body has adapted, but she has also adapted and figured out how to, both consciously and subconsciously, be able to weather not only dramatic changes in the weather, but also how to hold her own against different creatures and monsters that she hasn't ever seen before.
Great. Wonderful, thank you. And last but not least, Max.
So, Dewey has never spent much time in anything like the Badlands of Talmaad, so he spent some time documenting all the geology of the region. He also built up some endurance, just walking that much for 40 days. And he's increased both his constitution and intelligence. He's also gotten pretty good at setting up tripwires against like intrusion during the night watch, so he's got a new spell to represent that.
Ooh, I wonder what that spell could be. Thank you so much for the recap, and thank you to all the players as well for your lovely description of what you did to earn your level up. We're now level 4, which is exciting, right? This is the capstone level for the first tier of play or something. Correct me if I'm wrong in the chat. So let's go right into the episode. First of all, Devin, would you like to explain what the title of this episode means?
Yeah, so like Connie was saying, we're at episode 4, and the title is called A Garden Disguised as Fern by Ladan Osman, who is a Somali American poet and teacher. The whole verse reads, "He's just a man, my mother says. Now that men have come, verb shifting, evading contexts, covering themselves with ash, then calling themselves dark, calling themselves devil and disguised as ferns."
Thank you for that, Devin. Is Devin's internet a little laggy for anyone else? That was a little bit choppy.
Oh.
Yeah, you're cutting a little
Was
bit
it?
in and out of the network. Yeah, it's just something to be aware of. Perhaps something you can troubleshoot on your end while we're getting started. And yeah, I don't know what could be going on. Maybe just the gods are unhappy with us. But yeah, if you didn't catch all of that, I'm just going to reiterate in case folks didn't hear because of cutting in and out. The title of our episode is A Garden Disguised as Ferns. It's from the poem Sympathy for Satan in the collection Exiles of Eden, which is a fantastic collection, by the way, by Ladan Osman. I highly recommend that you buy it directly from the publisher, which is an indie publishing press based here in Minneapolis called Coffee House Press. The whole verse of Sympathy for Satan that A Garden Disguised as Ferns comes from reads as such: "He's just a man, my mother says. Now that men have come, verb shifting, evading contexts, covering themselves with ash, then calling themselves dark, calling themselves devils. They begin flowery discourses. They sometimes enter a garden disguised as ferns." So yeah, truly fantastic poet. I highly recommend this. I have the book right here. It's really awesome. Talks a lot about white supremacy, about what it's like to be a Somali American. Super great stuff. So yeah, let's move right into our session. Are we ready for this? I'm not sure if you are. So let's get started. Oh yes, that theme music. A canticle of beak and feather. The blood-shorn birth of new worlds. Death singing out of an echo of itself. The glossy eye of imitation. 40 days ago, on the night of Bear's End, Dr. Hitsagutan Oluso descends a flight of weathered stone stairs, carrying a torch to illuminate the dark, narrow passageway. Squeak trails behind her, her large, bulbous black eyes blinking nervously in the darkness. Eventually, Hitsagutan's boots touch down on a flat but narrow landing that overlooks a vast, cylindrical cavern with a massive structure inside, stretching all the way from the bottom to the top. A towering, vertical device that resembles a twisting spire with wickedly sharp blades, like some sort of massive auger, over 10 feet wide and several dozen feet tall. Arcane runes engraved along the metallic blades of this device glow gently, illuminating the doctor's serious face as they begin to descend a flight of stairs that winds down along the wall of this cylindrical cavern. Eventually, Dr. Oluso and Squeak reach the ground floor, and the two of them approach the base of this structure, which appears to extend even deeper into the earth. The doctor hands the torch to Squeak and begins fiddling with a small metal panel attached to the device through a complex series of wires and tubing. The panel hums and buzzes, and a holographic display of arcane runes identical to the ones etched along the blades of this device light up in front of her face, and the doctor frowns. Just as I feared, Squeak glances over, a terrible realization dawning on her face.
So, your theory is true? There's gonna be another one? Tonight?
Not just another one, Squeak. The worst one we've had ever.
Well, we have to warn someone. If we leave now and we take Moo, we can cross the chasm and reach the clans in just a few short hours. We have to tell people.
Squeak, I'm afraid there's no time.
Then what are we supposed to do? Just sit here and let people get hurt or even die?
No, of course not. But right now it's too late. Our best course of action is to brace ourselves, prepare for the fallout, and tidy up the cottage. I'll be expecting guests. Squeak sort of turns and looks at Oluso oddly.
Guests?
And the doctor smiles. In times of catastrophe, there are always heroes, and heroes always know where to look. And now we fast forward 40 days to the present, where the four of you, Manaya, Oka, Dewey, and V, sit in the living room of Dr. Hitsagutan Oluso's cottage. The doctor sips his tea, prepared for him and the rest of your party by Squeak, and nods solemnly at your group. Ask your questions. I'm sure you have many.
Where did they go?
The gods? I'm not sure, but they're definitely not here anymore. I'm not even sure if they remain in the beyond.
Then where could they have gone? If they're not in the beyond, where else is there?
I have a theory, but I need more evidence. I need more information to verify it. I have my predictions about what this means, but currently very little solid proof to back up any of my ideas. I'm not sure if the gods are gone so much as we are gone from them.
Making a note of that.
Yeah, write that down in your notes if you would like. Any other questions?
What do you mean by we are gone from them?
It would take a catastrophe of extreme magical power to wipe out the gods completely. Something unprecedented, essentially since the birth of this universe. So I don't think that's what happened. It would take a significant amount of energy and magic to rip us, the now, from the after and the beyond, but less than it would to eradicate the gods entirely. I'm pretty sure that's what happened, as opposed to the gods vanishing on us, we have vanished on them.
Do you have any idea who would have such power to be able to do such a thing?
No, I don't. But if I can tell you the truth, I almost saw this coming.
What do you mean?
What do you mean?
Well, of course, I didn't know the stars would disappear and the gods would no longer answer our prayers, and honestly, I'm not quite sure what's going on with these strange monsters walking our lands now. Though I have my theories, but I did know something would happen this year. They sort of clear their throat, and they take another sip of tea, and they say, I have a device in my laboratory that I've been working on for 22 years of my life now. I originally made it to track what I call magical hotspots, which is another theory I've been developing about the nature of arcane magic, but my machine picked up on something I wasn't looking for 21 years ago. I wasn't sure what it was. It looked like a spike on the readout, which means some kind of enormous magical disturbance occurred that wasn't felt physically necessarily, but had dire magical consequences. And out of curiosity, I followed up on some leads that came to me at the time, and I discovered something odd. Magical creatures that were inherently good aligned had gone berserk at the exact moment that my readout spiked. So too did I encounter stories of storm-tossed ships, missing peoples, strange deaths, unknown illnesses. And then the same kind of spike occurred again 7 years ago. I followed up on similar lines of inquiry and discovered similar effects: magical beasts running amok, inexplicable natural disasters, vanishings, deaths. If you're mathematically inclined, you may have already put together that the first spike, which happened 22 years ago from today, occurred 14 years before the second. I had a hunch, and so I dove into my research. I looked up accounts of inexplicable anomalies put together by those who came before me. And when I placed all my notes in a row, I had created this. And Hitsagutan gets up. She goes over to one of her bookshelves and she pulls out a very, this big scroll. She unfurls it across her coffee table in front of you and reveals a long, long, long graph that plops onto the floor and continues to roll across the rug. That's how long it is. And you see that the x-axis of this graph is labeled year, and the y-axis is labeled magical activity. And the line runs horizontally across the graph, right? And for the most part, it's relatively even and pretty low, except for the fact that it has little blips at intervals that start out far apart but get closer and closer and higher as we approach the end of the x-axis, which is today's date. And Dr. Oluso points at the latest spike on 405 AT, that fateful night that the four of you met and the stars disappeared. And you see that that spike is much, much higher than the previous one. In fact, it almost disappears right off the graph. And Oluso says, the vanishing, which is what people are calling it now, happened about 40 days ago, right? With a 7-year-long dry spell before the previous spike. And Dr. Oluso points at another spike on the graph. Before that, the dry spell lasted 14 years, meaning that particular spike was 21 years ago from today, a year after I first built my machine. And then she points at the next spike before that. And before that, I discovered that the dry spell lasted 28 years, points at the next one, 56 years, points at the next one, 112 years, 224 years, 448 years. Now, I don't know if you've been keeping track. Yes, Manaya?
Did you tell anyone?
Did you work with anyone else?
It's just been me. I tend to work on my inventions and my theories alone.
Didn't warn the people?
Did you talk to any government officials about this?
I did. But I
Which
was
ones?
essentially laughed out of their court. I sent missives to everyone, from the elders of the commune of Morose to the court of ravens. I even tried getting into the slumbering city of Tulung, but they wouldn't see me. No one believed me. Believe me when I say that many of these officials, magistrates, royalty, members of royalty, get these sorts of absurd requests and demands and theories all the time. Why should they take stock in my words? One of the few times I've regretted not putting pen and paper to my exploits and having a journal verified by peers, perhaps, but I prefer to work alone.
I have a question. I've lived through the last few spikes, and I don't recall anything ever like this.
Yes, as you can tell, and Dr. Oluso points at the latest spike, this spike dwarfs all the ones that came before. You likely wouldn't have noticed the ones that came before unless you were specifically looking for them. Anything happened 7 years ago? Anything of note? Any of you?
Oka, in this entire conversation, has been staring kind of downward at Manaya's feet, and they slowly raise their eyes.
Okay. How are the rest of you reacting when Dr. Oluso asks about 7 years ago?
Manaya has her head in her hands.
Okay. Dewey.
Yeah, V's gonna be very stoic
And Dewey.
and try not to give anything away.
Dewey's got the math lady meme. You're caught up in what the doctors just told him to worry about 7 years ago.
Dr. Oluso says, based on your reactions, I'm assuming something happened to each of you. Something happened to me as well. I'd rather not talk about it right now, but it's part of the reason why I prefer to work alone. And now, V, you bring up a fantastic point. You're an elf. I'm assuming you're fairly long-lived. Probably have lived through many of these spikes that I'm pointing out right now. Look, I don't know if you've been keeping track, but this kind of progression along the x-axis, which denotes time, of course, is quadratic, right? Meaning that these intervals are regularly shrinking at a rapid but not extremely alarming rate. However, you'll notice that the growth along the y-axis, which again denotes magical activity, is exponential. Look at the spike that the vanishing caused. It dwarfs every other spike. I had to remake my graph to accommodate it. But more importantly, if my calculations are correct, which I'm pretty certain they are, this means that the next anomaly that is scheduled to occur will be catastrophic beyond our imagination. Remember what I said about enough magical energy to wipe out the gods entirely? Think that, but bigger. If it happens, I don't know what will become of the multiverse, much less Andake. For all we know, we could vanish into the ether, never to have existed in the first place. And the worst part is, of course, this anomaly will happen approximately 3.5 years from today. Well, technically, more like 3 years and 3 months, since it's been 40 days since the vanishing.
Does your readings or anything, is there like a source here on Andake that they seem to be coming from? Can you tell at all?
There's a reason why I decided to live out here in the boonies, the badlands, not just for the immaculate company, of course. And Squeak goes, Squeak! But also because I've discovered in my travels that there's something about the chasm. Something inside it, or about it. There isn't exactly a epicenter, let's say, for these magical events, but they do seem to be particularly strong here. Haven't yet unraveled the mysteries of the chasm, but I hope to, in what time we have left. Though that does raise a good point. And Oluso seems to think, and they actually pull out a small, notebook from their breast pocket of their dirty lab coat, and they begin writing in it with a quill. The previous spikes actually did seem to have an epicenter. It seemed to originate from the chasm, which is originally why I was drawn here. But this latest spike indicates the spike that indicates the vanishing 40 days ago. Didn't. It seemed to happen from everywhere and nowhere at once. Which goes against everything, all the data I've collected. That seems to indicate something about the chasm. Still, there's clearly a relationship if you just look at the data, if you look at the numbers.
And you said you needed more data. What word did you have in mind for that?
I'm glad you asked. And Dr. Oluso goes, Squeak, if you wouldn't mind the scroll. And Squeak sort of waddles over and starts rolling up the scroll as Dr. Oluso continues talking. She says, I'm currently in what I like to call acquisition mode, when I just try to acquire as much information as I can and then cobble together a narrative from all these disparate pieces. She sort of adjusts her shirt and says, as I've mentioned, I prefer to work alone, but this is a catastrophe, a cataclysm of a magnitude and scale that I've never encountered before, so of course, I need help. I've dedicated the past 20 years of my life, more even, to understanding the cause of these magical disturbances and unraveling the secrets behind arcane and divine magic itself in Andake. And while I'm still not sure why this has happened, I think that given enough time, resources, and help, I can. That's why I've decided to form a task force of people that I know and trust to help me collect information about these anomalies so we can figure out what caused this and, more importantly, how we can restore the world to its original state before the clock runs out. Squeak is part of this task force, a long-standing friend of mine, as well as myself, of course, and a couple of other people. We call ourselves Equilibrium, short for the Equilibrium and Guidance Group, and we hope to save the world.
You think you can?
I think
You
that...
see that map? It goes on forever.
It does. But I think that the other option, apathy, death, is far worse than hope. That's why the four of you came to see me, isn't it? Get answers? Fix this thing?
Well, I came to talk about the Vault of Benwell, but this seems more important, so...
Ah, the vault. You're a treasure hunter.
That could be one word for it.
I've chased after the vault for a few years of my wanton youth. Have a few leads here and there, but I would agree with you. This is more important. And the rest of you? Hydrate.
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 While we're thinking.
We came here to hydrate.
I may have some answers to the recent changes in the spikes and where they're coming from.
What do you
What?
mean?
Huh?
What
How do you
answers?
know that?
You think it's best if we talk in private? Actually, I don't know if I want to be in private.
If you trust your companions, I trust you'll be able to tell your theories in front of them openly.
I was working at the Uhanahi Research Laboratory, and they had me working on sensors for these kind of physical and magical anomalies. And I left because they were what looked like weaponizing them.
This looks like news to Dr. Oluso. They pause and they go, I'm sorry, you were employed by the URL?
Yes, another hunting me down, but that's
What?
nothing. They might be behind this.
Ah.
Also, I'm in danger. I'm in mortal danger.
You're in mortal peril! Is this the first time you've told your companions about this?
Yes.
Okay.
Beach starts chuckling to herself like, you are so good at keeping secrets, Dewey. I'm quite impressed.
I hope you're not also as good, because that might mean you were one of the people sent out to kill me, but I'm trusting that you aren't.
How are the rest of you responding to this information?
Oka's like leaning, doing a like hello. Pretty just a wide eye like stare moment.
Manaya?
Dewey is probably not meeting Manaya's eyes because every time he looks over to her, she's giving him the angriest glare she has ever had, probably in her whole life.
Whoa! And Manaya does
Just
not...
like a cold, dead, just like...
Oh! Wow, I love that. I'm gonna actually give you inspiration for that, Devin. Yeah. So let me light that up.
Hey.
There we go.
My character sheet's in my backpack. I'll be right back. It's right here. It's right here.
Okay, go grab it. Dr. Oluso, after you drop this bomb, goes, I have so many questions for you, Dewey. I've been trying to get in contact with the URL for the past 5-10 years of my life, but they don't return my missives. Dr. Oluso looks askance a little bit and goes, So they were also working on some sort of sensory device, but you said they were weaponizing it? Weaponizing it how?
Adding, like, cannons and shields.
Cannons and shields? Huh.
Wait, you don't... I thought I told someone who would make this public to the scientific community, but...
I've never heard of such a thing. Who did you tell? Who else knows about this?
No one. It's best I don't tell anyone her name.
You know, Dewey, I could just read your mind, right?
No, please don't! No, it's for my safety and theirs.
Dr. Oluso says, I should have mentioned this earlier. You wouldn't be able to even if you tried. This cottage is thaumaturgically sealed by yours truly.
Whew, I gotta pick up on that.
So you won't be able to summon any kind of magic here. It's for my safety, as well as a lot of these objects I keep in here react to magic, and I'd prefer them not to wake up. And their eye sort of lingers on this beholder eye that's suspended in, like, amber in the corner. And Dr. Oluso goes, anyway, thank you for that information, Dewey. And they scribble in their notebook about that. That is a lead I'll have to follow up on. If your employers are after your throat, though, Dewey, I'm assuming you won't be able to introduce us.
No, I'd rather not see them again.
I see. I understand. How about the rest of you? Any truth bombs you'd like to drop?
None as impressive as that.
Very well, then. Like I said, I'm starting Equilibrium, the Equilibrium and Guidance group, with Squeak and a couple of other people. If you would like to join us and try to reverse this catastrophe, we can talk about that. If you prefer to go your own separate ways and just try to make it through this new normal, you're allowed to do that as well. I won't force you to do anything.
What kind of salary does this and benefits does this position have?
The
I'm joking, everybody. I'm joking.
Of course, I anticipate I'll be sending you out on missions to retrieve information or follow up on a lead that I've discovered, and when you come back, depending on the success of your mission, and also just to compensate you for your efforts, I do have a considerable backlog of wealth and magical items I can give out. Squeak here, actually, I would like to clarify our relationship. Squeak isn't my assistant, as you may have assumed. She's actually a traveling merchant. And Squeak, who's been standing in the corner, like glaring at the four of you this entire time, goes,
Yes, I am a seller and purveyor of magical goods of the highest order.
And Dr. Oluso says she's also an old friend of mine. That's why she's around a lot of the time, but I'd be able to give you money that you can then use to buy magical items from Squeak to help you in your journey. Fantasy Costco.
That hit me way too hard.
Fantasy Desert Frog.
You're in your element right now.
I am.
fine. Apathy, equilibrium. I'm in.
Well, if they're in, I guess I'm in.
Dewey, Manaya.
Manaya?
No.
Ah. That's unexpected. Can I ask why?
You went to Hanahi and tried to warn them.
I did.
The Queen Kakoa I know would have listened.
I understand that this news might come as a betrayal to you, Manaya, but the tendrils of bureaucracy often extend deeper than we'd like to imagine.
No. The Queen is for the people. she would have taken every precaution.
And I don't doubt that in her mind she did. The fact that she decided to turn me away, I don't think reflects on her character so much as these claims I was making, with very little evidence aside from a device in my laboratory that I couldn't exactly bring. It's a rather large device.
Then why did my parents have to die?
Manaya, I'm sorry to hear that.
You said you warned them. You said the Queen Kakoa I know protects her people. She's not the kind of queen to, in the same year, receive warnings of beasts and horrible creatures and send ships out on the water. She wouldn't do that.
As you're sort of like freaking out a little, Dr. Oluso just sort of wordlessly gets up and starts rummaging through a cabinet. And by the time you're done speaking, they've returned to their armchair and they hand you a bottle of what looks to be some sort of tonic or salve. And they say, smell this, Manaya, it will help calm your nerves.
No, I cannot trust you.
I understand. I am, again, sorry to hear about your parents.
But it wasn't beasts, was it? It wasn't monsters. It was the emissaries. The celestial creatures, the good ones. Right?
We don't know. They were on a ship to the court.
I mean, these warnings. These...
Manaya,
I knew it was.
Manaya, how did your parents die?
I don't know! All I know is that they haven't come back.
I think I understand. Dr. Oluso takes the tonic back and hands it to Squeak, who goes back, deposits it back in the cabinet. Dr. Oluso says, I understand if you feel like you can't trust me, but I want to make it clear that I'm not asking for your trust. I'm asking for your help. I can't do this alone. I've tried, and clearly that hasn't worked. If only I had let other people in earlier. People who knew the Queen, people that the Queen knew. Perhaps she would have listened. Perhaps they all would have listened.
No. No. You, she points at Dewey, you were working at that laboratory.
Yes.
It was a cover-up. She didn't do anything because then the laboratory wouldn't be able to do their research on it.
That's...
You said they were weaponizing it. But if the Queen... If she... I'm sorry, I'm going to need a moment. Manaya's gonna walk outside.
Okay. Manaya, you exit the cottage and the light in the sunless sky is beginning to dim. There's still a little bit of light left, but it'll be dark soon. And you can sort of see this, like, just miles and miles of rock, dry earth, and dirt sweep your vision. A far cry from the boundless waters of the ocean that you're used to. And you sort of hear the chickens in the pen sort of clucking. One of them goes up to the fence and sort of looks at you inquiringly. Everything's very quiet and very still.
V is gonna stand up and walk outside too.
Okay.
Oka's gonna look towards the door, but sees V going,
Uh-huh.
and is gonna stay put.
Okay. Dewey?
Dewey is again looking puzzled, pondering if his employment was legitimate at all.
Uh-huh. So let's do Oka and Dewey in this scene first. So after Manaya and V leave and the door sort of slams shut behind V, Dr. Oluso sort of clears his throat and goes, "It's never easy, but it does hurt every time."
It's like a scar, an old ache.
Yes, it is.
Every time?
I've lost a lot in my life, and I've spoken with people who have lost a lot in their lives as well. It's never easy. I appreciate the pledge of support from the two of you. How long have the four of you been traveling together?
40 days.
I see. It's not very long at all.
No. Everyone's dropping news.
How do the four of you
Looks
meet?
at Dewey. We were looking for you. Actually.
We found Telepathy Saeed.
Telepathy. Yes. Dr. Oluso, like, recognition dawns on her face, and she goes, "Tiefling, pink, corkscrew, yes?"
Yes.
He was very insistent on getting every story I had out of me and recording it. I was very resistant, but he somehow wore me down.
Not surprised. He seems to have that effect on people.
I imagined he was a charlatan and not much use beyond that when I first met him, but now I'm beginning to doubt that. I wonder, if only people knew me better, would they have listened?
Nobody listens. Nobody in the court listens. None of the nobles listen.
You speak
They
as
like
though you're speaking from personal experience.
Oka doesn't say anything.
Uh-huh.
For that.
Uh-huh. Dr. Oluso just sort of quirks an eyebrow and then glances at you, Dewey, and says, "Dewey, please don't blame yourself for this. I know your friend is very distraught right now, but there's no way you could have known. And the fact that you fled from the URL after you found out indicates a strength of character and moral aptitude that many would envy."
No, I'm pretty sure I am a coward.
Sometimes it's better to be a coward than a brute.
Let's bounce to outside on the porch by the chickens. Exterior, Oluso's cottage. Dusk. Manaya, you're sort of standing there, maybe looking at the chickens when the door slams shut and V
Sitting.
comes out. Sitting. Okay, sitting. V comes out.
Manaya's sitting, yeah.
Great.
If you're here to pickpocket me, know that it is much harder to get within a coat than out, and I am really, really not in the mood.
That's okay. I came here to rob the chickens, so you're okay.
One of the chickens looks at you as if it understands what you're saying, and it fucks off.
You know, Manaya, it never gets easy to find out that someone you thought you could trust perhaps has betrayed you, so...
I
yes,
suppose you've been on the other side of that quite often.
it has happened to me as well, friend. There was a time where someone came into my life and seemed to be very trustworthy. They seemed to appreciate Avi very much. It felt very good. And as soon as I let my guard down, they took all that I had. So I understand what hurt can feel like when you're betrayed. And who knows, right? Who knows? Maybe your queen was doing what she thought was best for her people, and she didn't understand she didn't understand that all this could be possible. But
don't talk to me about my queen.
we don't have to talk about your queen. Mostly, I just want to find out. There was not long ago that we had a conversation about trust, and I was wondering, do you trust me and Dewey and Oka?
You and Oka I've come to trust, and I thought I could trust Dewey being Uhan, but that he would work at a facility.
And sort of on that question, let's bounce back to inside the cottage, where Dr. Oluso has sort of, maybe like a slightly awkward silence has settled, and Dr. Oluso just sort of goes, I was going to ask the four of you to help me capture one of these monsters alive for research. As part of a test, let's say, to see how you work together, how capable and able you are. But given the evolution of this discussion, perhaps that can wait.
It'll be fine. We can do it.
Are you sure?
We spent a month together knowing all that we knew was that we were here to come see you. Fairly mission-oriented.
I'm flattered by your faith in me, and I hope it doesn't come misplaced. I hope I can live up to your expectations. At the end of the day, I am just a man. But together, we can be something greater.
I don't know if I believe all that, but...
I don't need you to. I just need you to help me.
That I can do. I am a sellsword.
And back outside... yes, sorry, please, go ahead.
But first, I need you to look at something. Anoka begins unbuttoning their shirt.
Okay. Ooh, okay. Let's bounce back outside before you finish unbuttoning your shirt. Manaya. V. What's going on?
The end of world really truly has happened if you trust me more than someone else on this world. Trust me, believe me. So when I say this, it's coming as someone who perhaps thinks in a way unlike most people, but I don't look at the Dewey as someone who has betrayed. I look at the Dewey as a resource that we can exploit to perhaps get some answers and get access to some areas of the world that were perhaps locked away from us.
Leave it to V to see people as exploitable. But I guess he
what
did.
I do.
But I guess he did quit, didn't he?
It's true. If he was all that bad, he wouldn't probably be here.
Thank you, V.
Of course, friend.
Let's go back inside. Get this thing over with.
Great. The door opens as Oka reveals their chest. Oka, would you like...
I'm sorry. Was this the... I'm sorry. I'll come back in a moment.
I think Oka is like laid out on the tea table, right? Like, and their shirt is like unbuttoned, and like pulled open, and along with like the casual array of scars, there is, in their solar plexus, alongside 2 jagged top surgery scars, trans rights, there is a wound, a scar that doesn't look like the others. It radiates from their solar plexus and almost reaches the top like a sunburst. And while most of it is this mangled off purple scar tissue, like the rest that kind of mar their body, in the tissue itself there seem to be veins of gold, like a network of ore from a mine that radiate from that scar.
Perhaps the rest of you would also feel some sort of similarity between how the scar looks to the way that the couatl was bleeding out during its last breaths. Dr. Oluso says, "Oh, welcome back. We were just looking at Oka's body." I'm sorry, was that a little too sanitary? We were examining their torso.
I think it's just getting worse. Can you just end?
We were peering upon their pectorals.
What if you just didn't talk, actually? What if you just looked?
Let's look into this plan.
Very well. Dr. Oluso is going to examine your scars. They look down.
Roll.
Well, yeah, they're
Rolls.
NPCs. They look down, and their fingertips sort of trace your skin, and you feel that their fingers are very smooth and very dry and cold. And they sort of touch your skin, and then they lift their fingers and go, "You were gored."
They sit up a little bit and shrug their coat down, and you can see that there is a similar scar on their back all the way through.
Wow, all the way through, yeah. Dr. Oluso goes, "By a celestial. The way the muscle and tissue has knotted back together makes me think this was 7 years ago?"
7.
I see. That makes sense to me. I'm assuming you're not an evildoer, or someone with a lot of darkness in their heart, to warrant such a goring from a celestial creature.
Perhaps I am now.
Perhaps now, but I don't
Back
think you
then.
are. I see. This must be the thing that happened to you 7 years ago, when that disturbance occurred. Like I said, creatures, magical beasts going berserk seem to be part and parcel of these disturbances, and I'm still not quite sure why. Thank you for sharing, Oka. If it makes you feel better.
Is there nothing else? Nothing else you can tell me about it? I knew that already.
What do you want to know?
Something? Anything? Anything at all?
It wasn't your fault, Oka. If that makes you feel better. The
It
beast
doesn't.
was going berserk. It was lashing out. It doesn't reflect upon you. It reflects upon whatever made it do this. Which is what we're trying to find out.
Okay. Shrugs back on their cloak and angrily buttons up their tunic again.
Hold on. Did you kill it?
Yeah.
Did it ask you to?
Not this time.
I see. And on that note, we can take a break, because it's 4, right? We'll be back. I know our timer says 15 minutes, but we'll probably be back closer to 10. So once the timer hits 5, come back to us. Wow, what an intense series of scenes definitely going to be checking in with the cast to see how everyone's doing. If you as an audience member, if this is like too much, we understand if you have to tap out or take care of yourself, get some water, get some snacks. It's very emotionally charged in a way I did not expect, but am excited by. So yeah, let's report back in 10, and I'm going to roll the fan art reel in just a moment.
Yay!
Yay! Amazing fan artists. This time around the reel, for some reason OBS is messing up a little, so we weren't able to get everyone's artwork in, which sucks. Like, it wouldn't allow it. But hopefully we'll get this resolved next time. So yeah, take care everyone. We'll be back.
I suppose the dreams can go in the casket. I suppose the blood will go where you ask it. Will go where you ask it. Will spill where you ask it. Will spill where you ask. I'll spill where you ask. I'll spill where you ask. I'll spill. I'll spill. I'll spill. I'll spill. I was once the tree, and I was the paper. I was the hair, and I was the razor. I was the leg, I was the table. I was the cloth, and I was the indigo. And I was the indigo, and I was the indigo. And I was the indigo, and I was the color girl. And I was the color girl, and I was the color girl. And I was the color girl, and I was the color girl. Doom did. It's the blue light when we're out with our friends. It's the blue light asking where the night should end. It's the blue light saying, come over. It's the blue light in my coat on my shoulders. Lying in your room, playing with your hair. Lying to myself, saying that there's nothing there. There's nothing that we share. No reason to care, no way of knowing where this is going. What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing here? What are we doing? It's the cold light of the moon when I'm walking home. It's the warm light through my window when I wake up alone. It's the white lies when our friends ask what's going on. It's the white lies when I say we're just fucking and that's all. Laughing in your room.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Transplanar episode 4. Wow, what an emotionally charged session so far, am I right? Woo, zooey mama. So let's get right back into it. Before we do the players, do you have anything you want to share or say before we hop back in? Just want to give space for that.
I'm excited to roll dice for the first time in an hour, perhaps,
Yeah.
potentially.
Oh, heck yeah. Speaking of which, let's get right into it. So Dewey, V, Manaya, and Oka, the four of you have now reconvened inside Dr. Oluso's cottage after an emotionally charged discussion about the apocalypse. Dr. Oluso looks at the four of you sitting back on the sofa in the armchair that faces him, and he says, so Oka and Dewey, as I mentioned this earlier, there is a test, an initiation of sorts, that I would like to put the four of you through before you become full members of Equilibrium. No pressure, really, just to see how the four of you work together, and I'll be there watching, of course, in case things go dire, so your lives will never be in danger.
Written, oral, multiple choice.
I want you to capture a monster for me that has been endangering some people that live in the chasm. They have asked me for help, and I have pledged my support to them. I've been a little stretched thin, though, over the past couple of days, and I would deeply appreciate your support and your help. Manaya, if you would like to sit out, I understand.
No. I'll work with you. But know that I'm doing this for the people.
I understand. If it makes you feel better, if it's worth anything to you, so am I. And Dr. Oluso says, very well. I'll brief you as we walk. Let's go. And Dr. Oluso stands up, sort of tidies their lab coat, and you see Squeak rifle through like a little pouch that she has, like secured to her waist. She reaches into it and she pulls out something very long, like disproportionately long, given how small the pouch is, and hands it to Dr. Oluso, and it appears to be a silvery net. Like a slightly sparkling silvery net of sorts. And Dr. Oluso takes it from Squeak and begins to head out of the cottage. And as the four of you follow them outside, the sunless sky, right, is darkening slowly but steadily. As the doctor leads your party around the cottage, actually around the back of the cottage and toward the lip of the massive Euclid chasm that the cottage looks over. She pauses at the edge, actually, and you can see miles and miles of jagged rock and looming shadow yawning open in front of you. And the doctor points out a narrow, shrub-crusted path, no wider than probably 3 feet at its widest point, that winds down along the rough rock wall of the chasm. She says, watch your step. And she begins to pick her way down with admirable dexterity. Why don't the four of you make an acrobatics check for me?
Wait, before we do that,
Yes.
Oka is gonna get out their grappling hook,
Okay.
and hold one end of it, and they're gonna like offer it to each of the party members, so they're all holding onto it together.
Are y'all going to take this grappling hook?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is this going to be enough to
It's better than nothing.
Okay, where are you fastening the hook onto?
I figure we hold on to it, like everyone holds on to it, so if one person slips, each of the other three can like
Also
keep
slips.
them secure.
Okay,
Or
yeah.
also slips. I don't know.
Sure. Why don't you make your just a regular acrobatics check? I'm not gonna give an advantage based on how you're using it yet. So why don't all of you just, if you already rolled, just use that roll. If you haven't yet, roll for it.
Oh, this
I'm
is
gonna use my
Oka's first roll
inspiration.
with their.
I've got some new dice.
New
that I'm gonna
dice.
use.
Oh yeah, this is our
Yeah,
debut of
here's
some new
some Oka
dice.
dice.
Oka dice.
Blue and
Manaya
gold.
dice. V, you're using inspiration.
Yep.
Yes!
It was a nat 1.
Oh boy. Why do you always roll nat ones? Oka, what did you get?
Natural 19, but that is
Wow.
plus 5, so
Oh.
24.
Okay, you're fine. Manaya, what did you get?
I'm using my inspiration.
Okay.
We got a
18.
19.
Do we got a
18.
19 total? Whoops. Why did I
I
toggle
got
duties?
16.
Okay, 16. Okay, 16, 19, 24,
18.
18. Oh yeah, you guys are fine. So the four of you using the rope holding onto it, you like slowly ease your way down the side of the chasm following Dr. Oluso. And as she walks, she says, if any of you know how to cast light or illuminate the area around us, that might be helpful as well as the sun's going down.
V is gonna tap the little diamond in her palm and use the cantrip of light to make it shine.
It illuminates a small orb of light around your group as the sunless sky darkens more and more. Oka?
I knew you were watching me.
How long have you been able to do that?
I had a lot of time to practice in a tent alone. I wanted this as a birthday present gift.
Whose birthday is it?
Let's keep going.
Yeah, Doctor, your footsteps are illuminated by the glowing diamond set in the palm of V's hand. And as you descend deeper and deeper along the edge of this wall into the chasm, Dr. Oluso says, so here's what's going on. There is a small clan living here in the chasm in the upper strata. They've reported monster sightings. A few of them have even been snatched at night by these monsters. Unfortunately, as I mentioned earlier, I've been spread kind of thin, juggling a lot of people's requests for help, so I haven't been able to pay a lot of attention to them currently. But they would be grateful for any sort of help that might be rendered to them. Once we reach this clan, I'm sure they'll be more than happy to fill you in on the rest of the details before the monster hunt begins. The five of you, as they're talking, do you have any questions while you're going down?
What kind of monsters are they? I mean, I understand they're the monsters, but any specific types?
They appear to meld and blend into the shadows, and about the size of a person, perhaps, with multiple limbs. Dark, spiky. I'm not sure if this rings a bell for any of you.
No.
Like I said, I only have hearsay based on, second accounts of what they've told me. I'm sure a first-person account by the actual people affected by these monsters will be more useful to you than me recounting what they said to me.
Sounds like we're gonna need a little bit more use of this light here, huh, Veen?
I can keep it coming. Keep it coming.
The five of you eventually reach a 10-foot wide landing, about 50 or 60 feet, let's say, beneath the lip of the chasm where you initially set out. And Dr. Oluso hops onto the landing and sort of turns to help each of you get onto it as well. And as soon as you step onto the landing, you notice a large tunnel looming behind it that extends deeper into the side of the chasm wall. And about 20 feet into this tunnel, you see the flickering flames of a large campfire, as well as about 15 or 20 creatures clustered around it. And these creatures, they look like cows, except they're much smaller, about the size of like a large mastiff. And they have scaled skin that seems to glimmer turquoise in the darkness. And they each only have a single leg, ending in a hoof.
Chasm goats.
So as soon as your party descends onto the landing, one of these creatures looks up and lets out a moo, and begins hopping on its single leg toward
It lets out a what?
Moo.
A what?
It lets out a moo. Don't make me do it again. I swear to Mahu.
Oh, it's a shit cow! We finally figured out. It's a shit cow.
It's the shit cow.
None of them are covered in shit. And this one that's hopping toward you goes, Dr. Oluso, you're here. We're saved. And you hear sort of a chorus of moo, moo, moos coming from the tunnel. And the creature that approached you sort of stops in front of Dr. Oluso and inclines its proportionally very large horned head. It's like mostly head. And it says, thank you so much for coming. Are the four of you here to help us clear the tunnel? Or perhaps to help take care of our monster problem?
Yes. Yes, we are.
Yes, we're here for the latter, specifically. I'm afraid, actually, it won't be me taking care of the monster. It will be these four fine folk. And this creature, why don't you all just roll, like, nature to know what this thing is?
Oh.
What did you get?
Gentleman's 8.
A gentleman's 8 from Oka.
So many eights.
7.
A gentleman's
4.
7. A 4.
Manaya probably wouldn't know about these things, but I did roll a 17.
Okay. Manaya, because I don't think you've ever encountered them before, and I don't know if you would have read about them, but based on your high roll, you're like, they're cows. Mm-hmm. They seem to be cow-like, but they can also talk, and they don't seem hostile, so they probably belong to a category of magical beasts that you've learned about. So the rest of you don't really roll high enough to really know what this thing is. So it turns to the four of you. It looks a little, almost like disappointed on its big cow-like face, and it goes, oh, okay, well, if it's just the four of you instead of Dr. Oluso helping out, I suppose we can't say no to that. So let me tell you what's been going on with our clan. My name is Long. I'm part of the Hoofbright clan. We dwell here in the upper strata of the chasm, and, we usually don't like to poke our heads out too much, beyond the wall. But, ever since the vanishing about 40 days ago, the big earthquake, I don't know if that happened on your end, big earthquake seemed to happen, and it collapsed our tunnel system, sort of splitting our clan into two. And, that's why we're trying to excavate this collapse. We've been trying at it for about 40 days now, but it's a big collapse. So I think we're almost to the bottom. But in the meantime, this half of our clan, we've been trapped here by the entrance. And the past couple of days, these monsters have been stalking our night watch. They've even made off with 2 of them. Oh dear.
Oh my.
Yes. So we would appreciate your help catching or killing these horrible creatures that are menacing us. And you hear from the other creatures in the background, they go, menacing us. Can we count on your support?
Of course. We'll dispatch these monsters, and time allowing, we might even be able to offer some support in clearing out your cave.
Oh, thank you so much. I don't mean to be offensive, but the 4 of you look a little startled to see me. Is this the first time you've seen a queen?
Oh. No. No, sorry.
Roll deception. Oh.
It was a natural 1, and my charisma modifier is a -2.
Oh my god.
So that's
a negative one.
I believe.
This creature goes, were it not for Dr. Oluso, I would have gored you where you stood for such a flagrant disrespect of our honesty-bound culture.
Bee mutters under her breath, for once it's not me that's getting in trouble for lying to people.
No, I can't say that I have, but it is a pleasure to meet you all.
It's a pleasure to meet you as well. We're pretty reclusive, so it's not unusual for people not to know what we are. We're Quainu. We're Ox people. We live in the mountains. We live in the upper strata of the chasm. My specific clan, the Hoofbright clan, we're very peaceable. We like to eat rocks and lizards and stuff like that. But yep, that's us. That's who we are. Just be careful of the Hoofdark clan. They live in the lower strata. They're very violent. But I don't anticipate you'll be going down there anytime soon.
Oh no. If the caves are blocked, I don't think we can make it down there.
No, and you wouldn't want to go down there. They're much larger than us and a lot more angry. Yes. So, if it's all right with you, we would like to replace our usual night watch with the 4 of you, so we don't get snatched and killed again. And so that you might fight these monsters and perhaps kill them for us.
Sounds like a delightful time.
Great. Wonderful.
We will make sure you are safe.
This one's a monster hunter.
Yeah. Yep. Dr. Oluso, you said that you wanted one of them alive, no?
Yes, at least one. I think studying it alive will give me a lot more information than if it were dead.
Mm-hmm.
That would be appreciated. That's actually where this net comes in. And Dr. Oluso hands you, Oka, the net. They say, once you have it in a sorry state, throw this net over it and it will not escape. Oh, that was an unintentional rhyme, actually.
Was it?
What a poet.
Thank you. Once you have it in a sorry state, throw this net around it and it will not escape.
It's barely a rhyme.
Well, I worked on it.
Tough crowd.
Yeah.
I
So
thought you were a doctor.
I am a doctor. I'm not a rhymer.
They're not a bard, and we know what happened last time we met the bard, so we're okay.
So the 4 of you going to set up watch on this landing and wait for these monsters to attack?
Yes, I have some more questions though.
Yes.
Oka's a little awkward. They're feeling very bad about their -1 charisma roll. But they ask anyway. What exactly are these monsters? When have they been coming? From where? Do you know where they're going?
I'm not sure what they are. They're very dark. They blend into the darkness very well. And you know, we're tunnel dwellers, so we can see in the dark just fine, but they're very elusive, very fast, spindly. I haven't personally seen one with my own eyes, but they seem to like to ambush from above. And they seem to be able to skitter across the wall. Very mobile. Maybe some sort of bug? I'm not sure exactly.
Oh,
V
Manaya
is going
swallows loudly.
to V is going to pull out some torches, but instead of lighting them, she's gonna like light the tip of one with light, so it's no longer coming out of her hand, and then just jam it into the ground so like the area is.
It's lit up.
Actually, we have a campfire, right? So
Yeah, it's about
we do
20
have that
feet
light.
into the tunnel, though.
So actually, what I would like to do then is cast Mage Hand and put the torch up high, since they just said they come from above, and just put the torch in some type of rock if there's one for it.
Okay. Yeah, there's there's a rock nearby. See a ceiling lamp. Sure.
Fantasy
Yes.
ceiling lamp.
Fantasy ceiling lamp. Okay. So what else? Any other questions before we move the clock forward a bit?
Oka, I mean, not a question per se, but Oka is gonna set up. They have a good old hunting trap
Okay.
that they're gonna set up
Sure.
at the mouth of the cave.
Okay.
one question. Quailu, was it?
Just long. I'm a
Long.
Quay. Of
Oh, I'm sorry.
A Hoofbright clan. Long, yes.
Mix Long, do you know if they tend to come this far towards the entrance, or do they stay farther in?
My child has seen the Watchers get snatched. Like, they just whoop, they get picked up by something and whoop, they're gone. But they don't make a single sound, which is a little odd too. And beyond that, I don't know where they go. They probably have a lair somewhere here, but we're not keen on looking for it, if you know what I mean.
Oh, yes, I know how you feel.
Yes. Any other preparations we can assist with?
Do you think we could talk to your child?
Oh, certainly. Dear Shen, come here. And a miniature version of this creature leaves the crowd that's deeper in the tunnel, sort of hops over. And she, has big, beautiful, baleful ox eyes. She looks up at you, Oka, a little nervously, a little shyly. And Olong goes, "Don't be shy now. Tell this drow." Looks at you a little oddly, not quite sure how to place you. This lovely young monster hunter, everything you've seen.
Well,
Oka squats
oh,
together.
what do you want to know?
I understand it might be hard to talk about, but what happened when you saw your clan's people get killed?
Oh, we were by the campfire and I had to pee, so I woke up. But then I saw one of the people who were watching. I saw their backlit from the behind and just whoop, they're gone.
Anything else?
Hands.
Hands? Like hands?
Yes. Very weird.
How? Weird how?
Well, hands are just weird. We don't have any, so it's weird to us. But there were a lot of them, a lot of hands.
Huh.
Grabbing. Grabbing.
Alright, well, don't wake up tonight.
Okay, I won't. I'm traumatized.
And the girl turns around and hops back toward the campfire.
Is Dr. Oluso still here?
Yes, Dr. Oluso is in the sort of leaning against the entrance to the cave and watching the four of you investigate.
I want to go over to Dr. Oluso and
Okay.
I'm like, I'm suddenly not comfortable with this mission. Can we do a different one?
Why not?
Manaya's gonna follow. Well, you see, me being as tall as I am, I don't quite fit into caves very well, and if they were to get too cramped, I don't think I could be very effective.
So, what's your hesitation, Dewey? You don't appear particularly large to me.
It's my concern for Manaya.
Huh. Somehow I doubt that. Dewey, what's going on?
I mean, I told you all the stalking, hunted down things, right?
So you're worried for your own safety in this situation?
Yeah.
I have two thoughts on the matter, and Dr. Oluso sort of raises their voice to address the four of you. And Long's gonna go, I'm just gonna... You have your talk. Long's gonna hop back into the tunnel and confer in their own language with the rest of the Kwe. And Dr. Oluso says, my first thought is you don't have to worry. If things really go south, or if more than what we bargained for appears, I'll step in and I'll help. Your lives are not in danger, I can reassure you that. Again, this is just a test, a trial to see how the four of you work together to assist these defenseless ox people. My second thought is, if this is how you flee in the face of danger, then the road ahead in equilibrium might not be the road for you. I know you struggle with courage, is that it, Dewey? This will be a good, safe place to have that grappling.
Okay. If you say so, please don't let me get murdered.
Again, this is one thing I'm going to have to ask you to trust me on. I won't let you get murdered.
I just met you.
You
seem trustworthy.
That's fair.
But we're talking about my life, so...
I understand, and I would not so negligently allow you to throw your life away. I don't mean to brag in any way, but I am sure I'll be able to help out in a perfectly fine capacity if things go south.
Okay.
Oh, come on, Dewey. When have I ever let you down? I know I dropped you that one time, but it was one time.
And you can fly.
Not out of the grasp of some... It's fine. Okay, sure.
Thank
Don't
you
let
for
me
your... I won't. And thank you for your bravery, Dewey. The rest of you?
Oka's setting up a bear trap at the center.
Yeah.
They're yeah.
Okay.
I want to cast alarm.
Okay. V. Manaya?
Yeah, I think V's just gonna sort of set up sort of a lookout spot somewhere, maybe investigate some of these caves.
Okay. You're gonna... Okay. Manaya?
Manaya's gonna sit down against the cavern wall waiting for it to get dark.
Okay. Dewey, how does alarm work? And Oka, where are you setting up the bear trap?
I can set an area, like a 20-foot cube.
Okay.
And then it'll alert me, or it'll produce the sound of a handbell. Whenever a creature touches or enters the area, I can make it so that the ox people won't set it off.
Okay. So where are you? Are you gonna set it around where the landing is?
Wherever we're stationed, yeah.
I'm assuming that's where you're gonna be stationed, like close to, like by the landing, out in the open, with the tunnel behind you.
Mm-hmm. Can I confirm something, Connie, just so I can see, so I can paint the word picture in my brain?
Sure.
So there's a landing, right?
Mm-hmm.
That juts out over the chasm a little bit.
Yes.
About how far?
10 feet.
Okay. And then it's the cave that starts.
Yes.
And 20 feet into the cave is the campfire.
Yes.
Cool.
Yes.
Oka's gonna try to see if they can fasten the hunting trap, like, up over the cave.
Oh, interesting. Okay. To catch anything from above. Okay.
Like, just like, use maybe a stake.
Okay.
Or their dagger.
To drive it in.
Yeah, to drive it in.
I think you can do that without a check. That's fine.
Manaya? Oh. Bubba!
Mr. Bubba!
It's the monster! Roll initiative!
Roll initiative!
Everyone roll initiative! Hello. Thanks, Bobo. Hey, Manaya. You think you could, God, this is so embarrassing. Can you give me a boost, please? And Oka, like, looks away.
Manaya nods and stands up. And she walks over and like cups her hands so you can step up.
Okay. Oka, you are boosted up and you're able to nail in the hunting trap where you want it to be, directly above the cave entrance. V, are you trying to go deeper into the tunnel to go beyond the campfire?
Maybe a little bit, not much. Like, I still want to be able to see see the campfire behind me, but I want to try to see what I can see.
Okay, so you walk a little bit deeper into the tunnel. Roll perception for me. But I can tell you without even a roll, you see this, about 15 or 20 of these ox creatures. Most of them appear to be adults, but there are a few like smaller ones that you assume are children. What did you get for your perception roll?
3.
Okay, yeah, you don't really see much beyond what I just described to you. You can see the light coming from the tunnel seems to extend deeper in, beyond, like, for another 20 feet. You don't see the so-called cave-in that they were talking about quite yet, from where you're standing.
Okay.
But as you get closer, the oxen sort of, like, stop chittering in their, like, low mooing language. They look up at you. And the one you think is long, they all kind of look similar to your untrained eye, goes, "Oh, hello there. Can we help you?"
I'm just... I'm scouting. I'm making sure that we keep you nice, safe, tucked in, cozy.
Oh, we're fine in here. We're mostly safe in here, and besides, there's a lot of us. There's a whole clan, half of a clan of us here. So if they ever do decide to come in, we can just sort of... And he lowers his head and braces his horns.
Oh dear, that's very fearsome. I will not mess with you all.
Oh, no, please don't. We abhor violence.
Me too. Why be violent when you can perhaps be sneaky about your situation?
Precise, or mostly just stalwart, honest, and brave is sort of what we
Honest?
go for. Yes.
Oh,
I mean, that's why
honesty
Dr.
is
Oluso
best
picked you,
policy.
right? Because you're honest, stalwart, and brave.
100%.
Roll deception.
15.
Oh, great!
And with that, I'm gonna... Well, have a good night. I'll go back to my friends now.
Okay, good night. If you have any more questions, just let us know. Don't get killed by that monster. Despite our sunny disposition, we're extremely torn up and traumatized by the deaths of our clan's people, so please avenge them for us.
Oh, trust me, I will get no better pleasure than avenging your loved ones who are lost.
Thank you. You might not be able to tell, but I'm basically doing the equivalent of crying right now in the humanoid way. We appreciate it.
Oh, well, you take care. I'm not used to this display of emotion, so I'm going to join my friends now before I start crying.
Moo! And you go back to the entrance and you join your friends. So Manaya, you're setting up watch by the entrance, okay? And Babo is here helping out as well. So why don't the four of you, are we okay to advance the clock a little bit? So it's later in the day? Okay. So the minutes tick by. Yes, Oka?
Oh, no, it's okay.
Okay, I thought you were gonna say something. I can always tell. The minutes begin to tick by, and the minutes eventually transform into about an hour, maybe an hour and a half. Now, the sunless sky is completely dark at this point. The only pinprick of light that comes is from the campfire about 20 feet into the tunnel, as well as the torch that has light cast on it from V. So you can only really see based on how much light this sheds. I believe it's 20 feet of bright light and another 20 of dim light, correct?
Yep, correct.
Okay, that's how much you can see. And as the four of you wait and wait and wait, Manaya, because you specifically decided to keep watch, why don't you roll perception for me?
clean 8.
A clean 8.
You're not perceptive today.
Yeah, so Manaya, you're looking around, everything's just kind of dark, you're still unused to the starless night, let's say, and the only pinpoint of light is this torch. Dr. Oluso is sort of like camped near where you are, but you can't really tell what they have an extremely just stoic face on, and they seem to be watching the four of you, maybe mentally taking notes, based on how your preparations are going. And then you hear a noise. A loosening of gravel and rock from above the entrance.
Manaya twitches.
Okay. The three of you also, based on your passive perceptions, yeah, you hear it as well. Everyone except for V notices this crumbling of rock from above the entrance.
Oka shifts into a readier position.
Mm-hmm.
And is going to take out their blade.
Okay.
And just twirl it in their fingers for a minute.
Okay, Dewey?
I've got my longbow at the ready. I'm a nervous mess and just pointing it at everything and anything.
Okay. Manaya, you're just... Are you preparing your axe?
Yeah, I'll take out my axe and sort of shakily hold it.
Okay. Oka, how does the hunting trap work?
It requires a DC 13 Dex check, and if it fails, they will take 1d4 piercing damage.
And is it restrained?
Yes.
Is that
I
the
don't
condition?
actually know.
Can you look up the exact conditions of that? Because I'll need it for this. Okay. So as you hear this rock sort of crumble around you, you also hear a kind of noise that I don't think any of you have really heard before, kind of like a I'm not good at Foley work, okay, but it's supposed to be kind of creepy, like a high pitched, almost like a child's gasp, sort of what you hear. And Oka, how does your hunting trap work?
It must succeed on the Dex saving throw or take 1d4 piercing damage and stop moving. Thereafter, until the creature breaks free of the trap by making that save, its movement is limited by the length of the chain, which is typically 3 feet long.
Okay.
And the creature can use its action to make a DC 13 strength check, freeing itself or another creature within its reach.
Okay.
Success.
Okay,
Every failed check will deal 1 piercing damage to the trap creature. Okay, that's
Got it. Oka, you and the rest of you hear the hunting trap snap shut.
Mm-hmm.
Clang, metal against metal. And then you see 2 shadowy forms encroach upon the light as the trap catches air. So why don't the 4 of you roll initiative?
Oh boy. Don't like it when the trap catches air.
5.
Okay, 5 for
9.
V. 9 for Oka.
19 for Dewey.
19 for Dewey. Okay, Manaya.
Also 5.
5. Okay, V and Manaya, what are your base dexterity scores?
Regardless of what those are, Manaya is freaked out a little bit and is probably going to move a little slower.
Okay, Manaya, you cede your 5 to V then. Okay, cool. Manaya will go second. Okay, so the first person to go will be Dewey. Dewey, this is what you see at the top of your turn. You see these 2. They're just entering the radius of light that's being shed by this torch. You see what appears to be a dark, kind of amorphous, constantly shifting mass. 2 of them, one on either side of the hunting trap. Both of these creatures, let's say, are roughly the size of a person.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Oh,
But it's just
God.
like this dark mass that seems to pulsate and squiggle. What do you do? It's about, let's say, 10 feet above your head.
Has my alarm gone off? Is it within 20 feet of us?
Yes. As soon as it comes in, you hear the ding 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 alarm ring trigger in your brain. Which is why they don't get a surprise round on you. Yeah.
I launch an arrow at them.
You're going to launch an arrow at one of them?
Sure.
Okay, make an attack roll. Which one? The one on the left or the one on the right?
Whichever one's...
They're about equidistant from you. They're both 10 feet
the
away.
right one?
Okay, the right one. Make an attack roll.
Oh.
What'd you get?
I got a nat 20.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's
Dewey
ridiculous.
comes in with those natural 20s.
Damn.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay, so... Hold on.
Wait, actually, I should check. The longbow has a range of 150 to 600 feet.
That's fine. That means you can hit anything within 150 feet, and you'll have disadvantage on anything beyond that up to 500 or 400 or whatever it says. That's what that means.
Okay.
Yeah. So you're fine.
Oh, okay.
It's not within melee. It's 10 feet away, so you don't have disadvantage on the roll because you're using a ranged weapon.
Okay.
Yeah. So because you rolled a nat 20 on your attack roll, it will hit regardless. And I will allow you to pick between rolling double damage or having a separate boon that we can work on together.
Boon?
Okay, so it can be anything from like your arrow spears it to the wall and like lowers its speed or something, to like your arrow is able to like the glint of your arrow allows you to track it more easily. You can try to sell me on what the boon is.
I think it just like spears it to the. It just like.
It spears
Spears it to
part
the
of the body to the wall. Okay, sounds good.
Yeah.
So why don't you just roll damage for me? Okay. As this you let loose an arrow. And it explodes from your longbow, and it seems to spear through this writhing mass of darkness, and it pins part of this creature to the wall. What did you get?
I got max damage, which is 8.
Okay. Yeah, damn. Does that include your dexterity modifier?
No.
Okay,
Am
that's
I
how you
supposed to be
calculate
doing
damage. Yes.
Oh shit.
I'm not gonna do this anymore in the future because you're gonna be in charge of your own character sheets. But just so you know, so I don't rob you of more damage, you roll your damage dice and you add whatever modifier is appropriate to the weapon. For a ranged weapon, it's your dex modifier to damage, and for a melee weapon, unless it has the finesse trait, it's strength. Yep. So what?
Oh, it's damage too. Okay.
Yeah. What is your dex modifier?
It's a +2. So
okay.
10
So
damage.
that's 10 damage total.
Wow.
Wonderful. Yeah, that's great.
Nice shooting, Dewey.
You pin part of its body to the wall, and now because it's pinned, you see the rest of the body sort of like swing down like a pendulum, and it's like speared to the wall by the arrow, let's say. So it's sort of swinging, and as its entire mass swings into the light, you see what it is. It is a spindly black mass of limbs that seem to end in human-like hands that are all sort of like grabbing and pulsing and reaching for you. And you see in the center of its mass, as it's swinging and letting out this kind of noise, you see a big mouth filled with human-like teeth in the center of this mass. Do you have something else you can do on your turn?
I drop my weapon and cower behind whoever's next to me.
I like that touch. I will give you another point of inspiration, I think, for that. And you are fully loaded, Max. That is very in character. You see this horrible thing, you shrink away, and you hide behind whoever's nearest to you. Let's say it's a Manaya. You hide behind Manaya, and you cower behind her
Such
her
a good
coat.
impression.
Yeah. I like that. Okay, so next is going to be this creature.
Can we get some sick battle tunes
Oh,
going?
hell yeah.
I can't hear anything right now.
Okay, let me cue up some sick battle tunes. 1 second. I've been using like the ominous playlist for this. Yeah, orchestra battle fight. How about that? Epic boss fight? Does that sound good to
It's
y'all?
time.
It is time for
I
some.
would like it.
Yeah, you would.
I guess.
I would like to see the battle music, please.
I would
Okay.
like to see the battle.
For 500, Alex.
Here we
What
go.
is battle music?
There it is. Oh, look at how orchestral this battle music is. Okay, so next up is going to be this creature. Instead of the speared creature going first, it's going to be the other one on the left side. It is going to let out a and it's going to try to leap down. It's going to actually, what it's going to do, it's going to move back into the shadow. It's going to skitter, and you can hear its hands like grabbing at the rock. And then you hear the rocks loosen and crumble, and then it launches itself. Like it seems to like back up and then like build up momentum to launch itself at you, Manaya. Yes, I can't believe you're shaking your head because yes, it's gonna go for you. Let's see. And because it launched itself at you, it is going to have advantage on its attack roll. Does a 23 hit?
As a 23 hit. Of course it's fucking.
Okay.
The 23 hit.
Does the 23 hit? Okay, you're gonna take.
Yes.
We're level 4.
We're not that powerful.
You're gonna take 10 points of piercing damage as it completely envelops your head, and all of you can sort of see this huge, like spindly, multi-armed creature like grabbing at Manaya's trench coat, and it's right on you too, Dewey, because you're cowering behind Manaya, and you feel its like human-like teeth like chomp onto your head as you take 10 points of piercing damage plus 2 points of poison damage, as a kind of venom seems to like sizzle and burn against your skin.
Manaya is screaming.
Yeah, that's right. Your screaming is kind of muffled by its amorphous shifting body, and you're now grappled. So if you need a refresher on what that condition means, this means your speed becomes 0. You can't benefit from any bonus to your speed. The condition ends if your grappler is incapacitated, and it also ends if an effect removes the grappled creature from the reach of the grappler or the grappling effect, such as when a creature is hurled away by the Thunderwave spell. You can also try to use part of your turn to remove this thing from your body. Okay? Wow, that was such a crescendo. Next up is going to be the other creature that's pinned. It's going to try to use part of its turn, and you actually see something very interesting happen. It's sort of like swinging, right, kind of crazily, like from this, wildly, let's say, from this arrow that speared one of its like long spindly limbs, right, to the wall. And then you see that part of its limb that speared to the wall just sort of stretch out like taffy and detach, almost like it's a chameleon tail, and the rest of it plops onto the ground, but it looks slightly smaller. Perhaps it's lost some HP from this detachment. It plops onto the ground, and it's gonna sort of like, it seems to get smaller and less formidable in the light. It seems to shrink a little bit in like the sphere of light that it's in, and then it's gonna launch itself at V. V does a 15 hit. No, your armor class is 16. Okay, yeah, so this creature launches itself at you, but it doesn't manage to be able to bite through your skin, let's say bite through your leather armor, and you're sort of like weaving against it, and it squicks onto the ground at your feet, but it's going to use the rest of its movement to sort of skitter away and down the lip of this ledge, so it's like, so it'll be like on the bottom of it. If you're here, it's going to try to skitter and like be here, like hanging from the underside of the lip. And
opportunity attack.
Yes, V, you're the only one within melee range to make an attack of opportunity against this creature as it skitters away from you. But because this creature is so, well, actually it's in bright light, so this its special feature doesn't activate. So yeah, make it as an opportunity attack as usual.
You can't do like spells for melee attacks, right? It has to be
a melee attack. Yep.
So I guess I'm just gonna try to punch the guy.
Okay, make an attack roll with strength as your modifier, right? You add your
strength.
Your proficiency bonus.
Strength. Yep. So it's 10.
That is not quite enough. It seems to like where you thrust down with your fist, it seems to like open up and you just hit the ground instead. It seems very like shifting, like it's formless, and then it disappears under the lip of this protrusion that the 4 of you, including Dr. Oluso, 5 of you, are standing upon. Next is going to be Oka. On deck we have V.
Okay. Oka's doing a like, oh there, oh there, oh there, oh there, oh there, oh there. Okay. And kind of at the same time, they are going to as they unsheath their sword, they're gonna let it drag across their hip.
Okay.
So I'll roll one roll on my hemocraft die to activate it. That's 3 points of damage. Minus 3 is 31. So my sword erupts into a bright, brilliant flame.
Okay.
And I am going to if I try to stab at the one that's on Manaya's face, do I risk stabbing her in the face?
Yeah, if your attack roll is low enough.
It's low enough. Okay.
You'll take those odds.
I have a point of inspiration. I'll take those odds. Oh god,
Manaya will be very
said that
thankful.
Near the dice. Yeah, Oka's gonna try to like they've traveled with Manaya and they've been watching her back for days now, so they're gonna try to stab at it where it would be above her head.
Okay. Yeah, it's sort of like this big pudding of limbs and hands.
Yep.
Like a brand new hat. Okay, make an attack roll.
Yes. Okay. They're also just kind of yelling as they do so.
It's very chaotic, and you can hear a chorus of frightened moos from deeper in the tunnel as these creatures attack.
Does a 16 hit?
Yes, it does. Roll damage.
Hooray! Okay. It's like I forget how to do whatever I'm doing every time. Okay. So that is 4 plus 5. That
11?
is 9. 4 plus 5?
Oh,
9.
sorry, that's 9, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
9 points of piercing damage,
Okay.
and it's going to do an extra 4 points of fire damage.
Damn, okay, yeah, this thing is not looking so good after you... So describe to me what this looks like.
Oka charges up to Manaya and is just like, hold still, and goes, shoot! And it sizzles loud, and they like twist. They keep it there. Actually, they don't even pull it out and let it burn. Or actually, can they use it kind of like they're flipping
flipping a burger?
Okay. Flipping a burger, and they're just gonna like try to wrench it off with their sword.
Yeah, let's say because your attack roll was over its armor class by enough of a factor, I'll let you attempt that. Make a strength check against its dex.
Oh, can I? All right, fine. Can I dex against its dex?
Yeah, okay, I'll allow it.
Yay! Okay. 18.
That is sufficient. You flip this thing like a burger, and it goes splat against the cavern wall, right? Kind of above where Dr. Oluso's head is, and then it seems to like splat out like pudding that you splashed against the wall, and then it regains its form and it begins to skitter toward the queue that are cowering inside the tunnel.
Do I still have my bonus action?
Did you use it to use your Crimson Right? Because I think
that's actually something I'm rather confused about.
Yeah, as a bonus action, you activate your Crimson Right.
Oh yeah.
So you use up your bonus action.
Then.
Yep.
In that case, I will just use my movement to chase after it.
Sounds good. You are able to catch up to it. You're right on its heels. So Dr. Oluso goes, oh. That sort of like lets you pass by. So
I jump over her calves.
Yeah, you jump over her calves, sure. No pun intended, because these are ox-like creatures. So next up is going to be V with Manaya on deck.
Yeah. So can I see the one that went under the platform at all?
You can try. You can like stick your head. You can stick your head down.
You know what?
That's a horrible idea.
V's just gonna run to that ledge and like lay down and like stick her head over with her palm ready to do some scorching ray.
Okay, yeah.
At a level 2 spell.
Because of how physics works, the light doesn't extend to cover, right? What's like in the underbelly, but some of the light like radiates a little bit of the edge. You're not sure if you see it or not. All you see is shadow. So whatever attack you would make would be with disadvantage. Unless it were like a cone or something, I guess, and it would have to make a dex save or something like that. That's different.
Well, it's 3 rays of fire shot out.
That's 3 separate attack rolls, right? At least one of them's gotta hit, right? I think you make a separate attack roll for each one.
Each ray, each ray has its own attack roll, yep.
Yeah, why don't you do
That's
that?
correct.
That's fun. Go for it.
Roll 6 times.
Roll 6 times.
Yeah, they all miss.
All 6 of them?
Oh shit, no, that was only half. Okay.
Oh.
No, it's only 3 rays. Sorry.
Three rays, yeah.
3 rays.
Disadvantage.
Wait, no, that's also not good.
Oh yeah, wait.
Either way, they don't. That's not.
What did you get?
that's
What did you
not-
get?
Like 2, 3, and 2, which even with the modifier would be like
Okay. Yeah.
7, 8, 7.
Yeah, I don't think any of them hit. I'm sorry. Really? You got a 2, 3, and 2 on 3 separate attack rolls? That's pathetic.
Yep.
I'm sorry, V, but that's pathetic.
3 different dice.
But what they do, but what they do is they light up the darkness temporarily, allowing you to see where the creature is, right? So these 3 streaks of light shoot out from your diamond, you see like this creature weaving between, you know, and darting between and dodging it, and it seems to be like just within your reach, maybe 10 feet away on the underbelly. And based on this failed attack, you can now mark where it is in your mind, and you will not have a detriment to your attack roll next time trying to hit it because you can mark where it is from where it's been lit up occasionally, right? Like the creature just, and it seems to be like skittering farther away from you as that happens.
I hate this.
So very rats, very. So next up is going to be Manaya with Dewey on deck for the next round.
Yeah. So she screamed.
Yep. This thing's been flipped off of your head like the world's most horrific burger.
Pancake.
Venom-styled pancake. Yeah.
Ouch. So Manaya is going to get her bearings after being blinded and turn after Oka and follow them down the cave.
Okay.
Yelling, Oka, I owe you my life.
Not now!
And then she's gonna take the dull side of her axe and
Try to flatten it.
No.
Like a fly swatter.
No, she wouldn't have the clarity of mind to think, oh, maybe I'm breaking the rock and collapsing in the cave. No, she's just gonna hit it on the roof.
Okay.
Really, really hard.
Okay. So make an attack roll, and instead of slashing damage, it would be bludgeoning, let's say. If you hit. Make that roll.
Nah, a fucking 20.
Wow, seriously? Damn. Okay. So I'll let you roll double damage, or choose a different kind of minor boon.
Let's go for double damage.
Okay,
So
roll double damage.
Dice twice. Then,
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
I'm gonna collapse this cave.
No, I wouldn't do you dirty on nat 20 like that.
So that's 8.
What'd you get?
8 plus
Okay.
7.
Are you declaring this non-lethal?
Oh.
Or do you think Manaya would not have the faculty of mind to think like that?
But I would definitely not have the faculty of mind.
Okay, you kill it. You straight up kill it.
Like a fly against the wall.
Yeah.
Okay, you kill this thing. So you had described to me how you end this thing's life.
So have you ever seen Spirited Away?
Yes.
Yes.
Do you remember Kaunash? What's his English name? The black thing that like eats a bunch of people.
Yes. No face?
No face.
That's what. Yeah. Duh. Kaunash doesn't have a face. Duh. God, I hate English.
Come on,
so,
Devin, get with it.
Look, I just came out of Japanese camp. Don't judge me. I'm so sorry. Okay. So towards the end of the movie, and this isn't spoilers for those of you who haven't seen it, it turns into this kind of goopy thing that just kind of splats in different points. And I imagine it just kind of goes across the top of the cavern wall.
Yep.
Assuming my understanding of your description was
that's
correct.
very accurate. You baseball swing, it's a home run, and it just sort of splatters, and you see its like various limbs begin to splash and splatter against the ground. You see its various hands like twitching, the fingers twitching, like as they're disconnected from the central mass, and you see like several teeth fall out of its mouth and clatter onto the floor, and then it goes still. And
Manaya shivers and takes a few steps back.
Yep, you have killed one of them. Good job. But you do hear Dr. Oluso from the entrance go, "Oh, I did want them alive." So
Luca goes, nice one, and like pivots.
And you also hear some of the Q inside the Kui inside go, moo out of fear as you kill this thing in front of them and their family. So next up is going to be Dewey. Back to the next. This is the next round. Next. Yep, go for it. What do you do?
So I don't see it, right? The other one?
No, but you do see V with her butt in the air, looking at it. And you did see, like, the light explosion from Scorching Ray, and maybe V go, shit, I missed, or something. I don't know.
We still got one. We've still got one here.
I think Dewey's now not so happy that his the person he's been hiding behind has now left. So he's just gonna charge into the cave with his hands outstretched, with just like panicked. But he's casting Cure Wounds, so when he crashes into Manaya, he heals her for.
That's so cute. Oh my god, I love it.
Spellcasting ability modifier.
It's like, I glomp you, XD.
Just stop. I'll cancel this.
Okay, how much do you heal her for?
12?
Okay.
Points of damage.
Yeah.
Hey!
Are you back to
all
full
my
health? Yep. Okay, Manaya, you're healed all the way back to full health. As Dewey, you crash into her, and Manaya, you feel your wounds on your face close up and the bleeding stop. As from where Dewey's feathered hands are outstretched, you feel warmth coursing through your body, through your trench coat. Okay. And next up is going to be the creature. So V, you hear it skitter, 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 and then you hear the skittering suspiciously stop. And then it is going to launch itself at you. Got a nat 1 on the first one, so I'm glad it has advantage.
It's like a head crab. Just
Does a 19 hit.
That does hit.
Okay, it is going to hit you for 4, 7, 10 points of piercing damage, plus, 6 points of poison damage. As it launches itself at your face. And you, just like Manaya, are now covered in this writhing mass of limbs that's grabbing onto you and biting at your face. Okay, and you're now grappled. So next is going to be Oka with V on deck.
Cool. Oka is super hype.
Okay.
They watched Manaya just like splat.
Yep.
And they're like, yeah. And they just like, they're like, where's the next one? And they turn around, and they grab the net, and they see it on V at the other end of the cave, and they're gonna take a. What's up, Dewey?
Point of order, is the cave wide enough for someone to go around the other person?
Yeah, it's pretty wide. Yeah, at least 10 feet wide. Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not narrow at all. Yeah.
Okay. Oka's gonna like take a full tilt sprint. At V. Game plan here is to open the net. Here.
Okay.
And they're just gonna like launch at and over V's head and take the thing off the cliff with them.
Okay, I love that.
plan.
Yeah, why don't you have advantage on your dexterity contest against this thing?
This is the appropriate time to make your glomp joke, I think.
I think
Oka
so.
goes glomp, XD, roars how dinosaurs say I love you, and
First one, 15. The second one is a 17.
that is a tie. So I think what this means is you soar over its head, right? You don't get it, but it does leap off of V, and you go sailing over V's head into the darkness of the chasm.
Both of us?
Just
the monster
you.
and me?
Just you. The monster sort of leaped off to the side. Into the darkness, maybe? Yeah, okay, let's say it also leaped off into the darkness and is plummeting through air with you.
Okay. Oka's like,
You're flying through the air. You're falling right now.
did I drop the net?
No, you still have the net in your hand.
Okay. Oka's going, fuck shit, trying to grab it. And I will, of course, use my Radiant Soul.
Yes.
My bonus action. To let that good, those freckles.
Light up
Those
on your
freckles
face.
will light up. The wings will unfurl.
Unfurl from behind. Yep, because you're an Aasimar. Yep. Your wings, your radiant wings and you see a few feathers like come loose and they unfurl, and in the light of your wings you see this creature like hurtling through space with you, like within melee. It's letting out a
Does that mean I haven't attacked? I mean, I tried. I'm sure. I think that was my action.
Okay, this is your action, your bonus action. You're falling, you're hurtling through space. Okay.
Yeah, Oka has their wings out, but they haven't started to fly yet.
Yes, you're plummeting
intentionally
still.
Falling with it.
That's fine. And next is V with Manaya on deck. V, you're right at the lip of this. You see Oka sail over your head, wings unfurl, and this creature illuminated by the brightness of their wings. You see Oka with the net in their hand. What do?
Have I been tracking the creature pretty much?
Yes,
I mean, because it was on me, so
you see it precisely.
I'm just another scorching ray, 3 rays right at it.
Are you going to declare this non-lethal?
Yes, I will declare it non-lethal now.
Okay, make your attack rolls without disadvantage. So normally
21 for 1.
That hits.
12.
That hits.
And then a nat 1.
That does not hit. That hits Oka.
That hits Oka.
Fuck you. So roll damage for all 3 of them, and the highest one will go to Oka. Because it's a nat 1.
How could you?
It's a nat 1.
How could you?
Wait. Did the 2 hit the shadow creature?
Yes, 2 hit the shadow creature and 1 hit Oka.
Okay. So it really has to be like the biggest dice here?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, because that's 9 points of fire damage.
Ooh, okay.
Ow.
And then the other one, well, actually sorry, I didn't put the modifier on, so that's actually 14.
Do you? I don't think you add your modifier to spell damage unless it specifically states you do.
Oh, that's right. It says spell attack. Mm-hmm. Okay, so that's just 9, 4, and 5.
Okay, yeah, this thing is knocked unconscious by the 2. So 2 scorching rays explode from your diamond, and they find their mark. They splash and splatter and explode against this creature's form, and you see like your scorching rays blast parts of its body off until it's like halved in size, and it's just the mouth that's letting out this high-pitched crooning noise, and then it seems to go limp in midair, and it loses its form, and the limbs seem to retract into its body, and the hands disappear. It just becomes an amorphous black blob. And Oka, you feel your chest singe as the 3rd scorching ray misses its mark and plunges directly into where you were gored by that celestial creature that you revealed earlier this session. Yep. And it like blasts open your shirt, right? And the scorch marks extend up and like sparks fly. And Oka, if you would like to, you can use your reaction to try to scoop up this creature with your net.
I think I just got blasted in the face by some fire, so as my reaction, I'm gonna twirl a little bit more and be like, watch where the fuck you're going! And then maybe, yes.
Okay.
We'll be like...
Make a pretty low DC dexterity check for this, because it's moving in a linear trajectory because it's unconscious.
Oh, absolutely nice. Saving? Just a check?
Just a check.
20.
That's more than sufficient. You scoop it up into the net, and the net weighs like nothing in your hands. It weighs like feathers. It weighs like feathers in your hands. But as it scoops up this creature, it seems to constrict and completely like tighten around its form in like a perfect ball. And your wings flap, and you are no longer initiative. You have solved my weird monster limb shadow puzzle, and you have managed to capture one of these monsters as Dr. Oluso asked you while the other one is dead. Congratulations.
When V jumped off the edge, Manaya definitely ran to the edge because both me and Manaya forgot that you have wings. I mean, they were ready to like literally jump after you, but now that but then they like saw your wings unfurl and they were like,
same.
Clever.
Yep. So now that Oka, what do you guys do?
Oka is taking doing a sailing thing with the net, and they're like also patting at their clothes, to try to get the sparks up. Hydrate!
Hydrate. Thank you for the redemption.
Okay, is hydrating. And they're gonna
Mid-air.
come. Yeah, mid-air hydration. They're gonna just like open their mouth and eat some of the cloud. Anyway, they're gonna come sailing back and land kind of hard in front of V and everyone else, like panning a little bit with their, yeah. Like, was that really necessary?
Meanwhile,
Do you know the difference? Do you know the difference, V?
V is gonna be, because she was grappled, her vest and tie are all mixed up, so she's like tightening the tie. He's like, next time maybe you should sprout wings before you jump over ledge.
There's a lot happening at once. Listen, you're welcome. You're welcome. And Oka's gonna kind of like do a patronizing like cheek pat, and they'll use healing hands.
Oh my god.
On V. with their patronizing little face touch.
While this is happening, Manaya's going to walk over and take the bag from Oka, or take the net from Oka, take it to Dr. Oluso, shove it in her chest, and say, "Never make me fight spiders again."
Dr. Oluso looks at you and says, I apologize. I did not know that you were scared of spiders. I would argue they're not exactly spiders so much as an amorphous mass of
We are done here.
Very well. And Dr. Oluso is going to take the net from you, Oka, if you let them take it. From Manaya. And turns to the rest of the terrified and cowering Quay. And the Quay sort of go, moo. At the four of you, very impressed, very scared, right, by your kind of chaotic battle. But the one that was addressed, sort of like the spokesperson for the clan, Long, he sort of hops up to the four of you and goes, thank you. Oh, God, I have to get back into the voice. What was the voice? Thank you so much for saving us. We have been plagued by these creatures for the past few days, and finally, our worries can be put to rest. Thank you.
Well, I wouldn't say that.
Well, for now...
I mean, there's probably more. But we'll take care of that too, right?
Dr. Lucia
says...
yes,
you're safe. You'll be safe. Don't worry about it.
Thank you. Do the four of you have a name? Do you go by anything so that we might sing your praises?
I don't think that's quite necessary. I
look at V.
We call ourselves the tremendous... Nope. Let me think. Let's just call ourselves the four. We're the four. We'll come up with better name next time.
The four. Very well then. Thank you, the four of you, for saving our clan. And we're almost done excavating the tunnel. So if you'd like to help us, we'd appreciate it. But I'm sure it'll be done in just a few more days at most. Oh, what a blessed night!
I'm sorry about the mess here.
Oh, not to worry.
Let me help.
Oh. And Manaya are gonna help scoop up the remains of the creature you killed. Okay, as you reach down to scoop it up, Dr. Lucy goes, I don't think that's a good idea. I wouldn't touch it if I were you. Please allow me.
Oh. Okay, then.
Dr. Oluso clocks that, right? But doesn't comment on it. And they go, it's just mostly because some of these creatures, we don't know what their agenda or their biochemical makeup is. It could be that they degrade you to the touch, could be venomous, could be poisonous.
I think Oka has their fingers in one of them at this point already.
Okay, Oka make a con save.
Oh fuck!
Oh my god.
Are you sure?
Yes, I'm sure.
Okay, a 13.
Okay, that's just sufficient, but you do feel your fingers sizzle a little as you quickly pull them out of the...
Oh, I have resistance to poison damage.
Well, good thing you saved then, dingus. As you pull your fingers out of the gooey pie, and Dr. Oluso goes, please allow me. And you see them they make a gesture with their right hand, and then you see the bits of goo that are splattered all over the walls and the floor and the ceiling. They all seem to become shrouded in this glowing blue light, and they peel themselves off of the surfaces, and they reassemble themselves into a single mass. And then Dr. Oluso, you see their right hand is glowing blue. They form it into a fist, and then these pieces congeal into a single small pebble of darkness. And then Dr. Oluso gestures, and the pebble floats over to them. This music is really, intense for no reason. I'm gonna skip it, hold on. Dr. Oluso gestures, and then the pebble floats toward them. They open up a pouch, and the pebble goes into the pouch, and they put the pouch away.
So you really couldn't have helped at all, huh?
Well, I was letting you take the lead on that. Like I said, if things turned sour, I certainly would have stepped in. But you seem to have handled yourselves pretty well. Can we, do the debrief away from the people?
V's gonna cast Mage Hand to go grab the torch from the roof, or from up high, and bring it back to her.
Okay, sounds
No. We're here to help these people, and we will finish this job.
good. Very well then, as you wish. We can do the debrief here. I suppose I can start. Like I said, this was an initiation test or a trial of sorts, just to see how the four of you work together, and so that I might offer some pointers, perhaps, and so I can ascertain what kind of party you are, how you work together. My first thought is that you do seem to care about each other a lot, but your teamwork is a little sloppy. It's rather chaotic. If I were you, I would focus on training how the four of you work as a team before you jump in and try to save someone with perhaps flamboyant heroics. It did work out this time, but I do worry about the next. That's my feedback. And the Quay sort of go, oh, this is awkward.
That wasn't so much of a debrief as it was kind of a drag of... I mean, we did the thing, right?
You did the thing, yes.
You wait.
Traditionally, a
hold on,
debrief is more informational, less judgmental.
I'm sorry, is there a difference? I'm simply stating what I observed.
I was just thinking you would give us some more information about the thing we
yes,
killed.
the creature.
Sure.
And Dr. Oluso lifts up the net and says, I will have to do a more thorough analysis of this creature in my lab, to have the full report, of course, but thank you for capturing it. It is extremely useful to me alive.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
I don't have my equipment with me out here.
Okay.
We can go
Well,
back to
why
my
don't you go
laboratory.
back to your lab and start on that, and we'll continue helping these fine folk.
Very well.
And we'll need to discuss how we want our team work be influenced by you.
Very well. It appears my observations are not being well received. I will take that in consideration for the future and limit my advice. And Dr. Oluso just sort of nods to themselves, and they stow the net, they clip it against their belt, and they say, I am going to take this specimen to my laboratory for dissection and analysis. The four of you are more than welcome to stay here to help the Quay remove the rocks, the collapse inside their tunnel system. When you are done, I do suggest that you return to the cottage so that I might offer you a mission that I've been thinking about mulling over for quite some time now, but I don't think I'll be able to do it by myself.
Mm-hmm.
I just want
Very
you to
well.
remember, the next time you criticize us, just remember it took 8 gods and goddesses to make Andake. It only takes 4 of us to accomplish whatever we want to.
Very well. I understand now that critique is not welcome here.
Critique is welcome if you pull your own weight.
Fair enough.
I assure you I am
Fair
capable of pulling my own weight. Like I mentioned earlier, I was ascertaining, let's say, how well
Oka
the
waves
four of you
her
work
off
together. Okay.
and starts walking away.
Very well. Dr. Oluso just looks a little puzzled by the four of you's reaction, and they go, very well then, I will be off to my laboratory. I'll see you in my cottage at your earliest convenience. And she begins to turn around and walk away. Okay, do you guys have any last things you want to say to her before we wrap up the session?
No.
Great. So as soon as she disappears, the couatl, the one that has been talking to you, hops forward and says, How are the four of you doing? That was,
Manai kneels down and says,
That
"We're
felt
doing
tense.
just fine and ready to help."
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. I must apologize for Dr. Oluso. She's a little eccentric. I'm not sure if she picks up on social cues all the time. Which is saying a lot because look at me. I'm a one-legged, I almost said horse. Oh, silly me. I'm a one-legged cow. And I pick up on these things.
That just
I
goes
like
to
you
show that
already.
you've come much farther.
Well, thank you. We
Now,
really appreciate you getting rid of those nuisances for us and pledging your support to help clear the tunnel. This will really, really, really help us a lot.
Well, let's get started then.
Okay. And the Kui turns around and gestures with its big horned head for the four of you to advance deeper into the tunnel. And we can end the session there. Does it feel good?
Yeah.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. So that was a very intense session, I would say, but very fun for me to run, and I hope it was fun for y'all as players and audience member as well. So let's do our sign off as usual. My name is Connie. I am the GM and executive producer of Transplanar RPG. You can find me on Twitter at @ByConnieChong. You can find me on Tumblr at @DandDaddyIssues, and on Twitch as DandDaddyIssues, but I haven't really streamed to Twitch yet. Let's go around in a circle. Let's start with Devin.
what?
We're just signing off.
Say goodbye.
Oh, I heard Dave something, and I was like, what? Who? My name's Devin Olson. I use they, them pronouns. You can find me at this, like, weird, bluish, pinkish gradient above me. That's a lie. I'm not on the internet anywhere. Bye.
Let's go down to Erica.
Yep. So I'm Erica, she, her pronouns, and you can catch me, Erica New Girl, on pretty much any social media you might use, and come check me out when I stream here.
Wonderful. Let's move on to Max.
I'm Max, they, them. You can find me on Instagram and Tumblr sometimes at Starchmonger, but you can mostly find me on our Discord.
Yeah, join our Discord if you haven't already, and let's move up to C.
I'm C. I use pronouns like they, them, and any other gender-neutral pronoun. I'm loud. You can find me on Tumblr at pi-sharp, and on Twitter at pi-sharp-art. I make art. I do other stuff. So come hang out in our Discord. Thanks for being here.
Woot woot! Wonderful. So as a reminder to everyone to play our main campaign every other Saturday, so episode 5 is going to come out Saturday, August 22nd at 3 p.m. Central on Twitch. Never fear though, Lecture 2 of Professor Chong's Tabletop Workshop airs next Saturday, August 15th at 3 p.m. CDT, while I will be discussing player agency in tabletop roleplay games and how I approach that. So we love y'all. Please join our Discord if you haven't already. Thank you so much for tuning in. We are going to try to raid? Question mark? Oh wow, we got raided on the tail end.
We did.
On the tail end of our session. Thank you so much for coming, Raven. Thank you, Raven, for the raids. Thank you so much. We are going to raid someone else now. If anyone has any suggestions for who we should raid, please let me know, so I can do that post haste. I don't even know if there's anyone I know that's online right now. Oh, Asians rep is currently. Oh, Kupo is also doing stuff. So I'm gonna see if I can do that right now. So creator dashboard, let's go. Did you tell
Can we
us?
sign off and you do this on the buy screen?
Oh, yes, I suppose we can do that. Okay, so sorry about that. We're gonna sign off. Stick around for the raid, please, so we can support Kupo and other folks. Take care. We love you. Goodbye.